All right, we are live. This is Live with Jeneen Miller, and we're going to talk about Pieces of Victory, which is a book she's just finished writing. It's in editing mode right now, and it's going to be released here in about a month or so on Amazon. And we are very, very excited to have Jeneen Miller as the host, producer, special guest of her first live YouTube broadcast.
Thank you for having me, Steve.
You know, this is so exciting. I love the fact that the technology is at the point where we can do our own live YouTube podcast, and it's very exciting, very cool. We also have Jody Hobbs on the line. Jody is the president of the SIA organization. Hi, Jody.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun today. We're going to talk about SIA, we're going to talk about the convention, we're going to talk about how Jody got started, we're going to find out who Jeneen Miller is and her book, and we might even throw a little bit of some Pod Brother in there, who knows. Let's start with you, Jeneen. Who is Jeneen Miller? Who's Jeneen?
I'm a survivor of institutional abuse, and I'm also the author of Pieces of Victory. You can go to piecesofvictory.com to find out the synopsis of my book and a documentary that I have on the front, and then also the front cover of my book.
I'm going to go there right now. Pieces of Victory. Pieces of Victory.
You've got it.
.com. And not sure I spelt that right, but let's
That's okay.
do it again.
Like broken pieces.
So tell us about Jeneen while I look up this website.
Oh, sure, no problem. I started writing this book to spread awareness of abuse that takes place in residential programs. It is my personal experience of how I was locked up in a reform school against my will. And it shares what my life was like before Victory Christian Academy, during, and the aftermath of the child abuse.
And the book, Pieces of Victory, what inspired you to write the book?
I was thinking about it before Michelle Erickson wrote her Reform at Victory, and you can go to reformatVictory.com to see that. And I put it off. It was just too much for me at that point in my life. I started it and I stopped, and it was just too much post-traumatic stress disorder for me, so I stopped writing a book. And then I saw that Michelle Erickson had written Reform at Victory, and I got in touch with her, and she really inspired me to continue writing. And that's how I came about writing Pieces of Victory.
So tell me a little bit about, there's a teen romance in the book. How did that come about?
When I was writing the book, it was primarily discussing the abuse that took place at Victory Christian Academy, and it was just too painful for me to just write the dark side of this place, and I needed something to lighten up the load a little bit. And it was a coping mechanism that I used in my writing, because when I wrote Victory, Pieces of Victory, I put myself back in time, put myself back in the moment of that darkness, and it was pretty traumatic all over again, experiencing post-traumatic stress disorder and how I coped with it. As I started thinking, okay, well, what was my life before Victory? And you know, I was 16 years old. I fell in love, and I had a teen romance, and I was happy. And he made me very happy, and I felt very confident in this relationship. And I wanted to really, if I could go back in time with the dark, why not go back in time with the light? And so I did, and it was very healing for me to go back to that, because that's what helped me get through writing this book. Actually.
Who's Patrick?
Patrick is my former 16-year-old boyfriend. When I was 16 years old, we fell in love, and he's been a part of my life throughout the years. We've kept in touch.
Ah, that's cool. And what do you hope this book can do for you and for others?
If I could just back up for a little bit about Patrick, he is writing my foreword. He volunteered to write the foreword of my book, which I thought was very touching, and I'm excited about the foreword. So
that is cool. So, how do you, what are your anticipations on how this book can help others?
I am using this book as a tool to pass a couple of bills. HR 1981 is one of them, and if I can help be a vehicle to pass that bill, that would be great. HR 1981 is to prevent child abuse in residential programs, and there's also another bill, HR 5628, which is to stop corporal punishment altogether.
So you see yourself as an activist. What do you think your role is as an activist?
To spread awareness of child abuse. This is obviously an epidemic. If you visit my website, which is piecesofvictory.com, you will find movies, you will find books, you will find articles, you will find survivors telling their story about child abuse that takes place in residential programs such as boot camps, rehabilitation programs, reform schools, any kind of program to help troubled children. That's on my site. Lots of information, and then also there's sia-now.org, which is an organization to help survivors cope with the aftermath.
Who is Christina Quattrone?
Christina Quattrone is my editor and also co-writer of Pieces of Victory, and I'm very excited about her and what she has been doing and her extensive research regarding this matter.
So the research is on institutional abuse. What can you tell us about the research that you guys did?
The research is all on my site, piecesofvictory.com. And then also there's more information at sia-now.org. On my site, I have articles on Victory Christian Academy, which is the school that I was placed into in Ramona, California, but then he also had moved it to Mexico and Florida. Eventually the media had gotten that closed down in Florida, which I'm really excited about, and that's how powerful the media is. Also New Bethany, which is a sister program to Victory Christian Academy. There are articles on what we are doing now to prosecute, I want to say, a serial rapist who is sex trafficking in one of these programs. I mean, this is serious. This is really sad that this is happening in the United States, and so many people are so unaware of what's going on with these places.
Now, you've started some dialogue with Congressman Joe Heck from Nevada. Tell me a little bit about how that's going as far as getting a bill passed and on the floor and getting a voice in Congress to get some bills passed about this serious issue. Where are you so far with that?
Sure. I'm really excited to say that I had emailed Congressman Joe Heck's office, and I had sent him my piecesofvictory.com website and sia-now.org, and I brought to his attention, this is serious. We have a death toll. There was recently a boot camp, a sheriff's boot camp that killed a 14-year-old boy, and that's on my site as well. This is serious, and we really need to pass HR 1981 and 5628. So it sounds like I have his support. I had met with his staff, prior to meeting with Joe Heck, and yes, I did meet with Congressman Joe Heck. I'm very excited about that. He listened to what I had to say. he is doing the research on piecesofvictory.com and sia-now.org, and it's looking very hopeful and positive with the second meeting. I'm very excited about it.
Nice. Jody, you've had some proclamations from some senators and some mayors, and tell us about your footprint in the government in making things happen with regards to issues around institutional abuse.
Well, we got a proclamation from New York, which was wonderful. They just basically talked about all the great things that we're doing and how they commend our efforts on survivors of institutional abuse. And it was really such an honor to receive that proclamation from the City of New York. And we got a proclamation from the City of Long Beach, and that was at our very first convention in Long Beach. And they dedicated a day for survivors of institutional abuse. And so we were, again, very thrilled with that. And every year, George Miller has sent us a letter of encouragement and really addressing the issues and making sure that we know that he is there and he is trying to push through the bill HR 1981. And we are just so thankful for his support and his dedication to try to bring regulation to residential treatment centers and schools. So we're really honored and thrilled to be working with people such as George Miller to try to protect these children. We also have worked with a few other people to try to resubmit the end corporal punishment bill. Corporal punishment is going on all across the United States, and it's legal in some states still to this day in the public school system. And so what we're trying to do is bring awareness to people in the state that, you know, this is in fact legal, and hopefully we can get a federal bill to pass so that it's no longer legal in any of these United States. And so that's what we're trying to do.
Nice. Well, good luck with that. Tell us about the convention. I know you did a lot of work in launching the convention, and tell us when it got started, tell us how you got started, and a little bit about where the convention is going next.
Okay, well, SIA first initially got started because, you know, through technology, through Facebook, MySpace, you know, Yahoo groups, Google groups, many of the survivors got together and started corresponding. And, you know, the place that I was at, I don't think they ever intended that there was going to be this internet or this place where we were going to be able to get back in contact. And so we just started talking and sharing experiences and sharing stories, and the very first mini reunion brought together 9 of the girls from Victory Christian Academy, and we had talked about the abuse in Victory, but also abuse across the United States and even overseas, that this is something that is happening all over. It's not just one individual location. And so we all said, well, somebody should do something about this and help these survivors, because through our research, my research, I found that really there was not a whole lot of help for survivors out there in the community. And so that's how SIA got started. And through that mini reunion and then another larger reunion, I noticed that healing takes place when you're able to be around others to share that same experience and just to have people that understand what you've been through. And that's part of the healing process. And so that's what the convention is for, is to bring survivors together and raise that awareness. And we had our very first one in Long Beach, and then we had one in Washington, D.C., and then our very latest, which was in New York just recently. And our very next one is going to be in Los Angeles, California, in 2015.
And can you give us a little bit of a sneak a sneak preview of what the Los Angeles convention is going to be about?
Yes, I'm really excited about this. Each year we have a different theme when it comes to the convention, and this year it was educate, motivate, and demonstrate, and step up, speak out. And Steve has a shirt on if you want to model your shirt for everybody. For the SIA Convention 2014 in New York, and basically the year before that was Washington, D.C., and it was all about standing up and speaking out in front of the Capitol building. And the very, very first one was reuniting and healing and coming together. And so this next one, that's going to be in Los Angeles, is going to be all about celebrating survivors. And each survivor shares or has some kind of unique talent or ability, and we want to celebrate that. And some people are into art, or they've written books, or they've made movies, or they have bands.
Or comedy.
Or comedy, or comic books, or just anything of that nature. We want to celebrate the survivor and say there is life after institutional child abuse, and so it's there can be fun and happiness and healing, and so that's what we're all about this next year in Los Angeles, is bringing together survivors and just celebrating each other.
Now, you've got a spotlight on you a little bit, Jody, because there's a film out, documentary film, Kidnapped for Christ, and it's playing on Showtime right now. It's going to be playing for the entire month. Tell us a little bit about how that is showcasing the organization and what your message is for SIA.
Sure. Kidnapped for Christ is airing on Showtime, but it's also, at various festivals across the United States. And it's basically about one of these facilities, and this woman, Kate Logan, got unprecedented access into one of these types of facilities, and she witnessed firsthand what takes place at one of these places, and she was able to document the footage. And that's the documentary. And she follows 3 individuals. One of the individuals, his name is David, and he's prevalent throughout the film. And he was sent to the Dominican Republic, which is where this is located, for being gay. And so she documents her relationship with him and what transpires with him, and it's a very moving, touching documentary. And then there's also 2 others that are featured, and one of them, she's a rebellious kind of teenager, and she really doesn't have anything, to say or to speak that's wrong with her. She may have skipped school or something like that, but, no more than any other teenager, and she was sent there. And then there's another girl that's followed, and she definitely has some mental issues, and there was no licensed therapist there to help her. And so Kate did an amazing job kind of summarizing the different children that are at these facilities that really shouldn't be there in the first place, and then, of course, documenting the abuse. And she contacted me and asked me if I wanted to, if I would allow her to film at our very first convention in Long Beach. And of course I said yes. And her and David and her film crew came down, and they shared the experience of SIA Convention. And she interviewed people and really understood their stories, and those are in the film. And just the beauty of coming together and sharing our experiences, all documented in the film, and it's really great and honored to be a part of this documentary.
Yeah, I had a chance to see the film. It's good. I have to change the batteries. So tell us a little bit about what's happening at the convention. Let's put some new batteries in.
Okay, well, let me just share with you a little bit about what happened in New York. We just recently had a convention in New York, and we teamed up with Nick Gallia, who featured his movies at a movie theater, and we also were able to screen Kidnap for Christ there, and we had one of the things for the convention was to bring families together. And so we had a panel of families on the convention, and it was very touching and moving. And we had panel guest speakers, Phil Elbert. He was very vocal and an activist, and actually is a lawyer that helped successfully sue one of these programs. And he came and spoke, and we had a survivor speak. And it's all documented on sia-now.org, or you can go to sia-convention.org. So, okay.
Very nice. So you've been getting a lot of heat from the film because people are watching it, and they're going to be watching it for the rest of the month. What are some of the things that people can do? What kind of people are calling you after seeing the film? I mean, what kind of calls are you getting now that you have this Showtime exposure?
Yeah, so we're getting a lot of phone calls from people who said, I'm familiar with this abuse. This happened to me. I thought I was the only one. And so it's really great to be able to connect with these survivors who thought, they were the only one, and be able to tell them that, no, you're not the only one, and to be able to tell them, hey, come and tell your story, because each person that voices what happened to them causes change. And so I am very encouraged by the fact that we're getting contacted by many people who are survivors. And then we're getting people that are just outraged that this is actually happening in the United States, and how can they help? And to me, that is hugely encouraging, because that means that awareness is being raised. A lot of people, when you tell them about your experience when it comes to institutional child abuse, they have no idea what you're talking about. And they don't know what that means, and so you have to explain yourself, and sometimes it's uncomfortable, and it's uncomfortable for them. And so raising this awareness allows people to see what actually went on and what continues to go on in these facilities.
Jeneen, you are writing another book after this. It's Memoirs of a Las Vegas Masseuse. Is that it?
Close. It's Memoirs of a Las Vegas Massage Therapist.
Yeah. So tell us about that. What's that project about?
That is a little more lighthearted than piecesofvictory.com. It's about my personal experience interacting with guests in the casino. I used to work in a spa environment at the Palms Hotel, and now I am working on the casino floor at Planet Hollywood, at Harris Properties, and interacting with guests and the stories that go on. So
just so our viewers can understand what it is that you do, this is a corporate organization that hires masseuses to work the casino floors for people who have been on the tables losing their rent. And then, it's like after they lost 6 months worth of rent, then, they can, get a massage from you, neck and shoulders kind of thing.
Exactly. So while you are playing blackjack, 3-card poker, pie cow, you can get a massage while you're playing. Neck and shoulders.
So people should look for you on the floor. Like when they come to Vegas and come to the casino, they should actually walk around, look for you, and maybe sit at that table, or do you walk around several tables, or?
I walk around several tables. In fact, you can ask the pit bosses and the managers at these casinos, and they will bring a massage therapist out to you at your table.
Nice. So tell us about one of your stories. I mean, the book is full of all kinds of good stuff, I'm sure.
It's a lot of it is how people, treat guests, how they treat service, and some of it is not so good, and sometimes it's good. You know, you never know which way the cookie's going to crumble, but it's pretty much how I handle it. And some of the stories are, yeah, it even blows me away sometimes.
So give me one of those, you know, give me a good story. You know, give me something like, give me a happy story, like something that really worked out cool for you.
Sure. You know, I usually go to the high limit, and you know, we call them whales, and you know, sometimes we get $1,000 chips. You never know which way the cookie's going to crumble, but you know, I received $1,000 chips. I almost had $10,000 worth of chips.
Whoa!
I know, but I got the no from the pit boss and a dealer. So I thought, my job or $10,000.
Wow.
So I decided to keep my job.
So, I mean, is there any kind of, like, did they tell you that from the beginning, that you have a cap on your tip, or?
No, they didn't. They didn't, but the pit boss sure made that clear that day.
You know what? You need to find out what that is, because if your company says there's no limit, then the pit boss can't really say. Really? Exactly. The pit boss can go, no, and you can be like, my job says I can take 10 Gs.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, I don't want to get fired.
I think I need to get this in writing.
Yeah. I'll be like, I'll take the chip, and I'll be like, we'll talk later. Because massage is hard work, baby. Massage is hard work. You know, get them hands in there, and you work your kneading that muscle like it's dough, like it's pizza dough. You gotta get in there and work it like it's pizza dough. That's all I'm saying.
My favorite is when someone thinks I'm a woman of the evening, and I tell them off anatomically.
That happens to you too? They think I'm a woman of the evening. Vegas is crazy.
I know, Vegas is crazy.
I'm like, do I look like a woman? How much you been drinking? And they're like, you know, now that I see you in the light, you do have a beard. Wow, I got to stop drinking. Oh, fun. Well, where can we find you on the web? And you know, in closing, what's your call to action? Where can we find you?
You can find me at piecesofvictory.com, and then I'm going to cross-market the other book there too. That book should be completed at the end of the summer. It'll be published. I'll have it on Kindle and iBooks. It'll be on Amazon. So I'm really looking forward to that. And 6 months later, I will have Memoirs of a Las Vegas Massage Therapist.
Cool. And Jody, where can we find you?
You can find me at sia-now.org or sia-convention.org. And I just want to say we're so thankful to know Jeneen, and we're so proud of her putting this book together and speaking out and sharing her experience. She's been with Sia from the beginning, and she is such a good friend and advocate, and we're so proud of you, Jeneen.
Thank you. And I just wanted to say Sia has really empowered me. And if you are a survivor and you need, you know, some sort of support or someone that you can identify with, Sia is definitely the place to be for support and empowerment for sure.
Well, it's been a pleasure being a thorn between two roses, and I am so glad that I've had this honor to interview you, Jeneen, and have you, Jody, on Skype and share the blessings and gifts that you bring to mankind, and you're both so cute, and that's always a plus with the pod, brother. So this is the very, very first, by the way, this is history for you, Jeneen, because this is your first live with Jeneen Miller podcast on YouTube Live.
Well, thank you so much for making this happen for me.
Well, that's what the pod brother does. You know, I make magic for people. That's how I get down. You know, and maybe if I'm lucky, I might get one of them whale massages on my shoulders.
That's right.
Because, you know, podcasting is a lot of work, is all I'm saying. Well, it's been a lot of fun, and we know where you can get you guys. You can get me at podbrother.com, and it's been a lot of fun. We will be back. We're going to be doing this all the time. Jody, we're going to set up a regular SIA National podcast series as well. Is that correct? Are we going to do that?
We are going to do that, and we're also going to put together a newsletter, a SIA newsletter. So be looking to the website for updates. So a lot of things are up and coming, and we're really super excited about everything that's coming up.
Who's going to be doing the newsletter?
This lady, her name is Jackie Newman, and she came to us through another survivor that volunteered for SIA, and she came all the way from Florida, and she went to Cal State Fullerton, and she majored in film, and she loves to write, and she loves media and all of that, and so she's really going to help us ramp up our social media and our writing and all of that fun stuff.
Awesome. Well, that is very exciting. I'm looking forward to even throwing a little comedy in the newsletter where we can.
Yeah.
Because that's what I do. And so, if there's anything else that anybody wants to add, anything before we get out of here, before we leave, Jeneen Miller's live YouTube podcast.
I do have one thing to say. If you go to sia-now.org and you go to the Take Action page, that tells you all the things that you can do, volunteer for SIA or donate. But it also takes you to the 2 bills that are in play right now, and you can contact your state representative to support these bills. And also there is a bill to end corporal punishment in the public school system, and that's also on there. And a lot of people don't know that corporal punishment in some states is legal, and it's happening now today. And so I urge you to go to the website to look at our resources and take some action today.
Awesome. We'll do that. I will Facebook it. I will send it to people, and I will do my part to get that social media message out there for you, Jody, because I know you're doing good work.
Thank you so much.
All right. This is the Pod Brother you have been kicking it with, and we are going to do our thing and get out of here and figure out another way to do a live YouTube podcast for somebody. We're going to show some love to somebody. We'll be back with Jeneen Miller for her next. What's your next podcast going to be? What's your next live? What's the subject?
It'll be the status of where my book is.
Okay, so it'll be an update status podcast. Okay.
Status of my books.
Awesome.
Yes,
awesome.
Definitely.
All right. Well, you have been listening to the Pod Brother and Jeneen Miller and Jody Hobbs, and we are out. So keep it between the lines, and we'll see you around the corner. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks, you guys. Take care. Be safe.
Thank you.